Okay, Nat, I'm going to try this. Um, I'm going to read this right off your uh, thing on Facebook. Okay? So, you have some questions I understand you'd like me to answer in a video. I'll try to answer as many as I can, and if I get a little teary-eyed, it's all your fault. Okay? Um, of course, I'd have something to say to you. You're my niece. I'd be glad to share it with you. But let's see. How or why do I think this family has gotten closer due to the loss of a loved one? Well, Nat, I think because anytime you lose somebody in the family always tries to come together to share the loss. And most recently, since our parents aren't here with us anymore, we're the grown-ups and we have to do it. So we're kind of forced into being together to not only deal with the grief of it, but with also the business end of it. All the things that have to go on after the person dies, because everybody leaves something behind, whether it's just material things or financial things. We all have to get together and work those things out. Otherwise, we could just give it over to the state and not be worried about it. But I think it's an important part of the grieving process that we all come together, help each other through it, cooperate with one another, share and talk, deal with the heartaches, you know, laugh at the faux pas, and grieve just because we're going to miss either having to take care of somebody or just the fact that they're not going to be around. So, do I think this family has actually grown apart instead? No, I don't think so. Although, after, the initial business is taken care of, whether it's the memorial service, the burial, or taking care of all the business, uh, we all go back to our lives. And we all have to deal individually with our grief. We can't all be corporate mourners together. We have to move away. We have to leave, just like the disciples had to leave the cross at some point. Uh, but they came back together, commiserated. But then the Greater Commission came out and they had to go apart. But they always remembered Christ because he was with them always. And I think our family is with us always in spirit. So, have weddings and birth of grandchildren helped us through these years of sadness? Well, of course. I think the weddings are probably the hardest because there's always somebody missing. There's a chair that's empty that we hoped could have been there just a little bit longer. And we go through the same thing with grandchildren because I was just thinking today that, you know, would my dad love to see my grandchildren? So yeah, it's a time more remembering, and so every time I see my grandchildren, I'm reminded of that. But then again, Mama was at Taylor's wedding, but she wasn't there for Alex's. So, it'd be harder on them to notice that one of them got to share her a little bit longer than the other. But um, those are just poignant moments for us that we all have to deal with. Which death affected my emotions the most? Every death affects my emotions. I'm pretty slobbery about that. Um, I mean, from the first death I remember, which was really, there was a great grandmother Stauffer, I think, was the very first one I remember going to. But Grandpa Powell, your great Grandpa Powell, uh, was the one that I was escorting Aunt Kathy through. I was dressed up in my suit and rode in the limousine. Although I don't think it affected me, it was certainly the first one I remember. But then there was a long time between deaths. But it wasn't until I think the death of a roommate at college, where I had gone away for the weekend, and he was killed while I was gone, and I came back, and his family had already cleaned out his part of the dorm room, and there was nothing there. That was the biggest shock that I had ever had. I never experienced the death of a colleague in the military at all. But I have a couple of people that I've worked with, one recently, who had been ill for a while and then died just before he was ready to come back. And so that was difficult for me. But every death, I think, impacts me. At the services for our loved ones, we mention memories of their lives and times that we spent together. Have I done anything to recreate that memory or make more of those memories? Well, I had been going through Mama and Papa's slides that I hadn't seen for a long time, but trying to digitize them and to save the slides before they deteriorated. Um, but I kind of hadn't had the time to do that. I had done genealogy for a little bit, but I've been busy with other things. I don't think really those are necessarily the important stuff. I think the times when I uh, look at Sullivan, for example, with his blonde curly hair and his blue eyes, and it reminds me of some of those early slides that I see of Bill being blonde and curly haired and blue eyed. And I looked at Sullivan a couple of times and said, Bill, are you in there? And so anytime I get on my motorcycle, I think of Bill. Anytime I'm talking with any of the engineers about electronic stuff, I think of Bill. I don't have to recreate anything. Those memories are right there with me. So, and the same goes for Mom and Dad. So, some of the harder ones are the ones that the deaths I haven't thought of for a long time. Grandpa Stauffer, Grandpa Powell, Grandma Powell, and I was the one that found Grandma Powell, so I would think that would have traumatized me. But I knew she was ready to go. She was looking forward to seeing Christ, and that is an exciting thing. Not that I'm in any hurry of seeing Christ. I will look forward to seeing Christ, but only when He's ready. So moving forward, if we no longer have these amazing people in our lives, will His family grow closer? I don't think we'll grow apart, which was your next question. But it certainly gives us a point to laugh about, to think about, to cry about every now and then. And we look at our kids and our grandkids and go, you farted just like Grandpa did, or this oatmeal cookie tastes almost like Mom's. And so it gives us the opportunity to look for those memories whenever they crop up. And yeah, I still like getting together. Just because I have two sisters, and they have their families, and I love them, um, and I love getting together with my family. Getting ready to go see Grayson, and wouldn't it have been great for Grandpa Powell to be around and spread a little hot sauce on a French fry for Grayson, just like he did for his dad? Those are wonderful things. tell me your favorite memory of this family or a person we have lost. Well, I just told you about Grandpa Powell giving Taylor hot sauce on his French fries. The fact that Bill rode down to Taylor's wedding on his motorcycle and was able to track it. He did this whole tech thing so Barb could track him, and we could track him, even though we only really saw one point that he was, and he was there days previously. And so, just the fact that he was trying to do that and ride down, we just loved him for it. Her mom just always being there, going to Walmart, buying these humongous pairs of pants and shirts for me because I don't know, she must have gotten me mixed up with Bill or something. But every time I think of Walmart at Millersburg, I think of Mom because we never had Walmart growing up. So we always ended up going to Sears. And I remember my first pair of jeans were actually like plaid or striped bell bottoms. I just wanted some regular Levi's. Come on, Mom, just give me some regular Levi's. Um, and we used to, my roommate in college, he wasn't a believer. He wasn't a Christian, and the whole suite full of guys that we were all Christians, and so we'd kind of pick on him. We'd kind of cajole Bruce into becoming a believer, but we'd never know if that ever happened. But everybody missed him when he was gone. And the three other guys that were killed with him, they were all in my class. So they were all really missed. But I think, the fact that as a family we could get together so often at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, we'd alternate between Aunt Peggy and Uncle Jim's house and our house, and we'd play Life or some other game at Aunt Peg's or at our house, and we make the sloppiest looking really tall snowman out of the early snowfall. There's just so many things. It's really hard to think of everything that would be the favorite. But I do like our going to Williamsburg at Christmas time. That was pretty special. Just because it had such character, and there we were in wintertime and having an old time Christmas in our motorhome, trying to play backgammon for the first time. But I thought that was really special. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I hope this recording worked, and because being a broadcaster, it'd be really disappointing if I couldn't get a video to work. So best of luck to you. I hope this works out for you, and God bless.